Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about the match between Dynamo Kiev and FC Barcelona, and to be more specific we are going to be talking about how Barcelona did take down Dynamo Kiev. And so look, first things first, I do want to get this out the way. Barcelona put out a display that was unconvincing. The only reason why Barcelona came out with this type of result, it is because of Marc-Andre ter Stegen. He was that goalkeeper that did save Barcelona and gave Barcelona the 3 points. And I also do want to congratulate ter Stegen for coming back and bringing out a performance like this, because we really did need this in this game. If it wasn't for him, we would be in a completely different position within this video and on the group table. As a matter of fact, I think that Barcelona were so unconvincing that I am going to be leaning towards the question of why was Dynamo so dangerous in this game? Why was Barcelona looking so vulnerable in the back to the point where Kiev could have scored 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 goals? And that is what we are going to be focusing on throughout this whole video, and that is what's going to be about 90% of this video. So we are first going to start with how Dynamo did attack FC Barcelona. So the one thing that we did see very repetitive coming from this team was their attack. Their biggest game plan going up against Barcelona was to attack on the left. And if we look at this graph here, we can see that Dynamo did attack in all areas. So it was clear that Dynamo did choose to attack on that side. But the question now is why? Why did Dynamo choose to attack on that side more than any other side? And so what I'm going to show you guys is 3 different plays throughout this whole game. And it is going to show you on how Dynamo got the most and was most productive on that side of the field. And so starting with the first play, we can see here on the 14th minute, they did have a player named Jong Rodriguez. He was that player that was receiving all the balls from Dynamo. And you and me saw this multiple times. There were so many times throughout this game where Jong did receive the ball and try to run all the way into the box on that left side. That was his main duty, was to take that ball as far as he could all the way down to our side. And here's where it gets very interesting, right? Dynamo knew exactly what to do with this. They knew exactly how to react every time he went to go run into our own side, and that is that in result it did allow the players from the other side of the pitch to move around and confuse our defenders, which was De Jong and Jordi Alba. And I am going to be focusing on De Jong now, because look, I think that since our other center back was Frankie De Jong, this was a center back, right? Knowing that he's a central defensive midfielder, but in this game, knowing that he was a center back, he was very inexperienced. And playing as a central defensive midfielder and playing as a center back, those are 2 completely different things, and they do have 2 completely different roles when you are defending. As a central defensive midfielder, you are supposed to be that player that's supposed to close the lines between the midfield and the defense and make it as tight as possible. As a center back, which was what De Jong was doing in this game, he was the last line of defense. And because he was the last line of defense, he did depend on his central defensive midfielders, which was Busquets and Pjanic, to close those lines. So he did need some support. But in this game, within these plays that I am going to show you, Frankie De Jong did not have any support. And the only reason why De Jong did not have support is because Busquets does not like to track back. And even if he does, he gets there extremely slow. Like, he never arrives on time. And so every time we did see Dynamo send their player named Jong Rodriguez down the left flank, and on their other side they had their players moving around, that is where De Jong was very confused, because he did have a very big decision to make. He said, okay, am I going to defend this player that's right next to me, or am I going to defend this space where a player could potentially run in? And when you are inexperienced as a center back, you are going to have a hard time on choosing what to do. And then I'm going to show you another play, which was play 2. We can see here on the 45th minute is almost the exact same thing. Dynamo sends the ball through the left wing. Then we can see that player send that ball into the final third. The player does receive it. Then De Jong is in a position, right, where he's like, okay, do I need to attack this player or chase this man that's currently running into the middle? And then obviously De Jong did choose the right man to target. He was following that player all the way into the box, and then eventually in the end of this play, De Jong was in the right position. But that was only telling Dynamo that De Jong is going to be having a very hard time trying to adjust as a center back in this game, so they continue to do it. And then moving on to the 52nd minute, we can see the exact same play go over and over again. Jong does receive the ball. He runs to the left flank. We can see De Jong right next to Piquet trying to mark his man. De Jong is very well aware on where that player is running. He is running to space. He is trying to make that run 1v1 into the box. Jersen passes the ball, and then we can see here that De Jong does get out-bodied. And this is what I mean, right? This is exactly what Dynamo wanted to see. This is what they wanted to get out of from Frenkie de Jong, because they knew that Frenkie de Jong, when it comes to 1v1s and defending that ball, De Jong is not a specialist in that. So when De Jong does have the ball, he does extremely well. But when he's put in these positions, which is something that Dynamo wanted, Frenkie de Jong was simply not physical enough to go on those 1v1s. And by the end of this play, we did see Frenkie de Jong get outbodied, and Ter Stegen yet again made another save. And that is why Dynamo Kiev looks so dangerous going forward, is because they knew exactly what to do. They saw that weakness and they're like, okay, we are going to completely maximize and get the most out of their one weakness that Barcelona is showing in this game. And so look, as a Barcelona fan, as a Barcelona player, as a Barcelona manager, we should not be worried, because I think that with De Jong playing as a center back, it's only going to be temporary. The only reason why De Jong is playing in that position, it is because we are missing players. Now, is this De Jong's fault? It's not. This weakness that Barcelona is currently showing does come from a multitude of problems. For example, Barcelona do not have depth in that defensive line because they did not keep or buy a player in the summer transfer window, and because of that, we ended up with only 3 center backs, which was Araujo, Lenglet, and Piquet. And now that Araujo is injured, we are now left with 2 center backs. And knowing Ronald Koeman, he did not want to take that risk on putting Lenglet and Piquet, because if one more center back does get injured, then we would only have 1 center back left, and that is not the position we want to be in going forward in this season, which is why Koeman did choose De Jong to play as a center back. And look, this is not all bad things. I think that there's great things that we could get away from this, especially for Frenkie de Jong. I think that this could be a lesson for him to understand that these center backs actually do need help, that these center backs really do depend on a central defensive midfielder to close those lines, so he can have that experience and be like, okay, so this is what it feels like when we do not have that backup from our midfield. Maybe the next time I do play as a defensive midfielder, I'm going to try my absolute best to be that backup defender for Lenglet and Piquet when I'm placed in the right position later in this season. And going into greater depth, we can see here that Koeman knew exactly what he did need from this defensive line. We can see that Gerard Piquet was the main man to do all of the recoveries in this game. De Jong was not in charge to recover those balls because Piquet is a defender that is more experienced. He knows exactly where to position himself and get that ball as soon as possible. And so as soon as Piquet did receive that ball, when it came to the recoveries, he immediately did pass it to De Jong. And the main reason why De Jong was receiving so many balls from Piquet, it is because Koeman has commanded De Jong and said, look, after you do receive the ball from Gerard Piquet, you are going to be the main outlet to start the attack, which does make sense, right? Because De Jong is a player that knows exactly how to advance. He knows exactly how to start any attack going forward, which is now going to lead me to the next phase, which is the attacking side. Why did Barcelona attack the way they did in this game? And if we look at this graph here, we can see that Barcelona's main source of attack was on the left wing area. Yes, they did attack through the middle and through the left and through the right, but the main area was on the left, which again is going to lead us to the next question. Why was Barcelona attacking on that left area? And that is because there was no greater connection in this team and on this game than De Jong and Jordi Alba. And so you see how everything is connecting, right? De Jong was the player to receive the ball from Gerard Piquet and then look for a player like Jordi Alba to really start and create those chances. And so De Jong was that player to start the attack. And the main reason why Frenkie de Jong found the ball for Jordi Alba so many times, it is because Barcelona needed an outlet. They needed an outlet to attack, because whatever Barcelona was doing at the moment, when it came to the right wing area or through the middle, it was not working. And we can see here that Jordi Alba did take great advantage of Frenkie de Jong's final third passes, with a total of 3 key passes coming from Jordi Alba. And again, what was the reason for this? Why was Jordi Alba the main man to give out these key passes? It is because Barcelona have no striker. Because we did see players like Ansu Fati, Lionel Messi, and Pedri literally find no one inside the box. And so because Ansu Fati, Messi, and Pedri did find a hard time finding a player in that box that can score those goals, the alternative was this. They're like, okay, fine. If we can't find anyone in that box, what we are going to do is have Jordi Alba feed those balls to us, and we will be the players to score in that box. And that right there is what you do call adapting to the situation. And just to back this up, to show on just how badly Barcelona did need that striker, we can see here that Barcelona have encountered 2 counter-attacks, and within those 2 counter-attacks, Barcelona created 0 shots within those 2 counter-attacks. attacks. Again, the main reason why Barcelona cannot take any shot, it is because Ansu Fati, Lionel Messi, Pedri, and any other player there ran into the opposition's half, and as soon as they got outside from the box, they're like, okay, what do we do next? Who do we pass it to? So it's almost like they completely stalled, which is why their alternative was to pass it to Jordi Alba and then have Jordi Alba center the ball and look for either Lionel Messi, Ansu Fati, Pedri, or Antoine Griezmann. And eventually it did work out. We did see Gerard Piqué score that goal inside the penalty area because Piqué said, all right, fine, if we're not going to have a striker, I will be the striker. And honestly, when you do have Piqué, why even need a striker, right? No, I'm just kidding. But basically, that is the ultimate example on why Barcelona do need a striker. Look what happened in that second goal. Gerard Piqué was acting as the number 9, and Ansu Fati did find him with a center into the box. And so that completely wraps up today's Barcelona v Dynamo analysis. Again, it was another inconvincing win. We do need to improve. We do need to find new ways in order to attack, and hopefully Araujo and Lenglet do get back into full fitness as soon as possible. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.